alone make a hillock. I knew it, Truce answered. The maidens told me. All your life you have avoided your neighbors, fearing that you might have to give or do something for them. But one cannot get on in this world in that way, for Waldo, who is kind, turns away from the niggardly. Fasta has advised us, and it is engraved in stone over all our doors. If you are selfish, distrustful towards your neighbors, teach your neighbors, help your neighbors, and they will return the same to you. If this advice is not good enough for you, I can give you no better. The man blushed for shame and slunk away.
All right, let's hear from Mr. Talcott and Rant Creature. I'm guessing that they want to add to the experience. I do like that book. I think that there's some good stuff in there. I got to thank also P. Rex. He says, thanks, Paul. I appreciate you, Mr. P. Rex, for your contribution. Peanut Power, Talcott, Mr. Rant Creature, anything?
Well, I got to thank Mr. Smith for helping out, too. So thank you, Mr. Smith. Appreciate you, brother. And Mr. Pizer as well.
Yeah, why is Smith attacking Brian O'Shea all of a sudden, saying his life's the biggest joke ever? Like, you're doing the thing again, right? Like where you go, hey, I'm a follower of Jesus. Jesus is Christ, Lord of Lord, King of Kings. And also I drink like 2/5 of vodka a day. And also my life's in shambles. And also Brian O'Shea, you're the biggest joke ever. Like, did you not just at all take in the first part of what he was explaining there from that book, rather reading, not explaining? Did you not realize the whole God of all media is a bit non-bit? It points out the aspect of self that is corrupt and seeks to overwrite and overthrow the natural creation with its pride and ego. Did we not get any of the aspects of the simulation that have been going on here regularly that folks have been missing, all the little components of and aspects of self, right? Remember I say there's aspects of self that we come on here, we willingly show, and then we reverse engineer who and what we are and kind of more and more what needs to happen, regardless of what we want and don't want to happen.
I noticed something that I don't think too many people noticed. I mean, Brian, right, could probably use money, and they pay you to do audiobooks. And you seem like you have the ability to do it.
What, he can read?
He has a voice.
You can read, and you have the patience to sit there and read it out, right? So if you could do that, and you could read an audiobook, people pay money for that on like Audibly or whatever it's called. Amazon has a thing. People make money.
Brian O'Shea, here's where you ask him why he doesn't have the patience to read or listen to the audiobook.
I could just make money in other ways. You know what I mean? I don't want to read books, honestly. But like he seems like he's doing it, so fuck it.
Nothing, Talcott? You got nothing for that? I mean, he threw you a beach ball for that one. The whole capitalistic.
I can't. What he said, he doesn't want to read books. I believe him.
I don't want to read them out loud. You know what I mean? And
yeah, whatever. I believe you.
I read a lot of books. I just don't want to speak them. It's a pain in the ass. But if Brian's gonna do it, you know what I mean? It might be able to be like a little come up, get him on his feet. Just saying.
For the book he was reading, yeah, it could be. I mean, what's his name? Tribe had talked about that with me, having me read books. Brian could read books, and you know,
Jack, you're boring as fuck, bro. I'd fall asleep. You wouldn't do good.
No, for those who want to fall asleep, I've got the perfect voice and cadence.
You could do sleep lullabies, maybe.
I figured that out. But that book
roll them into a hypnosis. I mean, that's what you do already anyway, right? You get the audience into a hypnosis, and then you try to hit them with Talcott mind control.
I encourage people, smoke up, do whatever you got to do to expand your mind, and just try to wrap your mind around the word.
Get loose, you know, brain gravy. Get ready to absorb the Jack Talcott propaganda, right?
Mm-hmm. I heard Dr. Peterson describe Carl Jung this way, and I believe, you know, you understand me, and it's very likely the structures of your consciousness and the perceptions in which you see the world, where it has the potential of drastically changing. And that's scary to many people, to allow their structures of thoughts and their beliefs to change. It scares the shit out of people. I remember my fears.
If you disconnect yourself from you, you could basically just see. And then you don't have to see yourself always in others. You could just see what's happening. You just say that's what's happening. That's all I'm doing.
What's
You know what I mean?
happening?
What's happening, man?
Can we give an update, at least for the audience? And I'm not going to pretend that I'm not curious myself. Did you get any paperwork on this house? Like, did they make any? Because here's the thing, right? Despite whatever anyone, including myself, believes is probable to happen, the game of this life and this story is, if something other than whatever is probable to happen happens, then it's a great story. I mean, it's fixing to be a great story, like they say down south. Either way, it's fixing to be that, right? Like I can see that. But yeah, I think that's like the investment and the curiosity is everyone has at least 1% inside of them, at least, that says, I think I know, but I have no idea. This is the diary of Jack Talcott, and something bigger might be going on here. So, like, can we get an update? Are they threatening? Have they sent letters? Have somehow or another God or the devil just sanctioned you to be able to keep that property and everyone just gone away? Like, I have to know.
Not yet. I've been praying for answers. What do I do? Where I'm at, the contract has expired, right? And I have requested communication with the people who on paper are allegedly the property owners outside of the bank, but I've tried speaking to the owners of this investment firm that purchased the property. It's been the only one I've been able to speak to is the property manager. He's kind of in a tough spot. He's the middleman, and I realize that. He wants me out, but the way I see it, I told him, look, when I leave, you're getting a fully stocked, fully furnished home. I'm going to take what my Camry will take, and the rest is yours. You can sell it, donate it, trash it. I don't care. It's your responsibility after this. But I don't feel like the facts are telling me to leave. So I thank God each day where I make it through the day, and thank God for the grace that has been shown to me, the grace and mercy shown through the property owner, the property manager. I'm still pursuing conversations with the APW, the people that could help resolve the injustices. I'm still moving forward in everything that I can think of.
That's one way to look at it, Jack. But what if God is trying to move you out of there? You're resisting and working with the devil to basically leverage assets that aren't yours against others now and taking from them.
Why would you presume that? I mean,
well, he's not presuming that. He's asking that question, and I could see what he's saying, because I found, again, I see the walk, and it's usually the same in a lot of ways. And that was pretty much where I was at before I left a place that I could afford, quote unquote, afford with the fiat coupons. But it didn't change that something had to change, right? Well, like for me to change, something had to change. And part of that was leaving where I was at and the property and going on some kind of journey to becoming, it would seem.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're resisting your own growth, and
you want an answer
or the low-hanging fruit.
You can keep your narrative going and keep convincing yourself, but you're not going to convince me.
It's not my narrative, Jack.
I don't think anyone's attempting to convince you of anything. We're just trying to make sure you're doing a healthy level of questioning of what your discernment is and what is best for yourself. So I'm willing to listen. I think he's willing to listen as well.
I said, what if,
Okay, and I'd love to address that. I think the clear way to tell would be, what are the signs? How am I feeling? What is my conscience telling me? What is my spirit telling me? Well, here's the facts. I've wondered, should I reach out again and continue my efforts for communicating with these people? Because there's more to this contract than just the tiny bit So let's not jump to the conclusions that I'm completely in the wrong here. There's gray areas in every interpretation, and here's the facts. The facts are, this house is evidence of me and my story. If I walk away from here, I'm leaving every bit of evidence of the wrongful persecution and all the other evidence of my past life in hell. So then that means I'm done.
Wait, Jack, you literally just in your own way, like you have before, double down, making the point that this house is evidence of your living hell, and rather than you leave behind your living hell, you'd rather sit and live in it to show evidence of it.
See me today in comparison. I am no longer in hell, yet I am in the exact same body, exact same place. If people would see the difference in me, if people from my past who saw this hell and saw me living in hell came here and visited me, they would not be in danger. The only thing in danger is their fucking beliefs. People, here's the point. I'm focused on my success. There's still an opportunity. I mean, very simply, what's on the table from my perception of the wrongful termination, the employment dispute, what's on the table and available for discussion would be more than enough for me to restore and pay off this property and generously reward the people involved with the past transactions. I can take care of the people and make things right when people are willing to. When I am allowed to make things right for myself, I can help others better than I can now. But for me to just, because someone wants to make a profit,
you need
on this
permission from the
property.
others. Exactly.
What's that?
You said when you're allowed to. Who gives the permission to you
God,
to help
God,
others?
God
You're
does.
saying God is forbidding you from helping others right now.
God has prevented me from finding anyone willing to join me.
Maybe you're headed in the wrong direction.
That's what you and others far away want to say and want to assume, but I'm telling you, you're welcome to join and see what it looks like from here. It's heavenly.
Like shit, Jack.
So you think.
I'm just saying.
You're wrong.
Okay.
You don't care about what you're saying. That's the thing. You don't censor yourself for the truth. You could do a better job, my friend.
You don't censor yourself for the truth, guys. Okay, you've heard it here live. The truth must be censored on Jack Talk.
Yeah, I mean, the indication is, Jack, that you really don't believe in what you're saying and putting forth, because if you did, you wouldn't be that reactive and resistant to other folks questioning your perspective and your faith.
I'm not reactive. And at this point, you're right. There was still small, but I'm getting past it. And where it is I'm just frustrated with people just so arrogant, so fucking arrogant. And I really
But
wonder.
you could obviously understand how, even if everyone's wrong and you're right, you could understand how all of us being born in this world, subject to the terms, conditions, and ways of the world, would have a hard time believing that somehow, some way, you're going to be able to retain this property without squaring the supposed contract, which you know what their name of their game is.
Don't assume I don't intend to square the contract. With communication, everything can be restored, resolved, amended. We can work through all the problems. And here, there is more to this that I don't have all the details of, so I've not been speaking about, okay? So I have questions that the other party would very easily be able to answer, yet they don't want to talk to me. So if they don't want to talk to me and treat me like a man, I'm not in any hurry to go make my life more difficult.
You have to act like a man to be treated like a man, Jack.
You said something that was telling, Jack. Earlier, you said you told the maintenance man, when I leave, you can have all this stuff here and XYZ. That means you've already decided subconsciously, if not consciously, you will be leaving there.
Well, no, Paul. Here's where I'm at. I am honest with the facts. And if I have to leave, I am prepared to leave. I'm not going to fight anyone. I'm not going to pull a gun or any shit like that.
Why are you delaying the inevitable, Jack?
Shut up.
What do you have to gain in this small?
I think he's asking good questions, though, Jack. Right? Like, if
you're planning on taking, where are you even going?
You can't answer that question for yourself. You had to interrupt me from answering something else.
Jack, I'll let you ramble for like 10 minutes straight, bro. You didn't actually get to any points on what we're actually talking about. You just did your Jack thing. You know what I mean? Where you try to paint this fucking canvas, this fantasy novel about the situation, not addressing the situation still.
I'm done with rants.
This is your problem, Jack. You're always just done. You
don't need to listen to opinions.
You can't run from it forever. You have to deal with it eventually.
Would you? You are not a part. Hey, dumbass, you're not a part of my life.
See, that's great. That's classic Talcott right there. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
I can't
be. Ultimately, again, I'm not here to do persecution, prosecution, judgment, condemnation.
So
I'm simply pointing out what I've noticed in even your own language that leads me to believe that inevitably you're going to have to leave there.
Tell you what, Paul, if you want to have a conversation, we can have.
I thought we were doing that.
Well, this asshat keeps interrupting.
All right, Rand, relax and take a back seat a little bit at times, right? You can ask him questions, but at least let him finish and answer, and then we'll circle back. And
I'll let it be. I'll let Jack just.
I'm not gonna sit here with your constant insults and false narratives about me, Rand. You need to fucking censor yourself and check your words for what is true before you spew your shit into the world, dude. You can do better.
But the reality of it is that for apparently him and everyone else, the truth for them, their truth, unless you have another truth, is we have to somehow come up with X amount of fiat coupons per month, per year, in order to square the debt for maintaining and upkeeping property that we bear no title or direct ownership of, right? So it would make sense to him and everyone else in the world, and you could argue of it, how and why are we going to get to keep... We're basically saying, Jack, this is an interesting situation you find yourself in. If you could somehow create resolution and remedy here, the rest of us are going to have access to a whole bunch of opportunities, apparently, that we didn't know were available.
Yes, you would. When people want to work with me, there will not be so much confusion. I won't be under all of these constant disbeliefs from people who believe in the ways of the world. The only way you can do this is with fiat. My patience is exhausted.
I get that, but the question is,
I'm done.
The question is, it's not a lecture. If you're going to work with me and I'm going to work with you as life coach or as remedy folks or legal lawful folks or even as entertainment, after a certain point, there has to be some level of reasonability and sensibility. So I'm asking you, what do we tell the people who are viewing right now who think that the world comes down to them giving fiat to keep their property? What's the other answer and solution?
Tell them what you want. That's not related to me. I'll talk to you later when you want to talk with me. Peace. Thanks for the opportunity.
Every opportunity you get, you seem to drop the ball. You're unreconciled and you create barriers and distance and division, and you're not received well. I mean, again, you say thanks for the opportunity, but this is a pattern of behavior in your life that you have to recognize. That every opportunity you're given, you squander because you get into your emotional attachment style of what you want and don't want to happen. And when you're questioned and asked for answers, for understanding, for solutions, you don't have them, and you wonder why people deem you to be non-credible. I'm not insulting you with your child and wife and everyone else. I'm pointing out a thematic issue that keeps occurring with a pattern of behavior that seemingly is unresolved and unreconciled. So you can't say we're gonna work together, we're gonna be something, we're gonna do something, and when the audience or anyone says, could you give us your answers and solutions about how you're approaching this and how it's going to end up? And you just get emotional and reactive. That proves on some level you really don't have any answers for yourself or anyone else. You're pretty much running on blind faith. So I'm not against that. If you want to run on blind faith, I'm interested to see how it turns out. Again, we're all going to find out one way or the other. It's a long game. So again, it's just like we're riding the line between doing a broadcast, having a conversation, bringing answers to others, or having to accept we don't have answers, thereby it being an affront to our pride and ego and seeming credibility, right? Don't get emotional because you are deemed non-credible for not having answers. I'm going to you over and over again with the right questions to get the answers to give to the public or to anyone here, your constituency. So again, it's just, you can't have it all ways at all times. There has to be some level of reasonability and sensibility beyond just a blind faith that you can't explain or can't make understood to folks who need it explained. Your thoughts on any of that, panel members?
I try to look at the situation of the reality we're inhabiting, right? And the situation, the dilemma that we're all in as humans and consciousnesses, right? And I kind of feel like we're all in the motherfucking ocean, right? Floating around, and we're trying to find fucking land, which is like God or the truth, whatever you want to call it. And, you might see a couple of lights off in this direction. I see a couple over there. We're fucking arguing. I think land's that way. You think land's that way. Okay, that's reasonable. But then you got people that are just like, listen, man, maybe it's not about getting to the land. And we're like, then what is it about? And they're like, I don't know, man. I just want to float here in the fucking ocean. And that's not enough for me.
Yeah, it's nihilism essentially masquerading as religionism. I don't see any other way about it. Folks who cannot display or explain the cause and effect or the problem or the solution and don't have an answer or results, who want to appeal to a God or a force that they seemingly lack so much faith in, they get reactive and emotional. Right? That's an indicator of being in fear, not faith. So we have to look at ourselves and each other and be really brutally honest with ourselves and each other when we're in these moments of what's actually happening psychologically and spiritually within us and without us. If not, we're going to continue to generate our own hell and call it a heaven and heavenly. I don't see that. I'm not seeing a heavenly existence for you right now, Mr. Talcott. I'm seeing a living hell that you want to call heaven because
accept responsibility.
You don't have any responsibility in creating your livelihood and your lifestyle.
Right. Hey, Paul, look, I didn't return for a lecture. Can I just say a couple of
things? That's pride and ego. You're very familiar with talking about it, but you're not applying that standard to yourself. You're acting like a petulant child right now. We're asking tough questions to get to realistic answers about who. Okay, Jack, go ahead. Go ahead. You're in control. You have control right now, even though you're out of control of your thoughts and emotions and actions. But you're going to come in here and feign false strength and control, and you're going to project onto me that I don't have that in myself and in my life on some level.
Hey, Paul, you're perfect for you.
It's not about perfect.
Right. Can I say more than 2 fucking words? 3?
I think you should stop embarrassing yourself by becoming reactive and acting out because you don't want to face a truth that is going to require more of you and from you.
Paul, you're the one who is ridiculing me. I mean,
Nobody ridiculed you. You were asked a question. You got emotional. You started cursing and you ran off.
Paul, you're interrupting every fucking thing I say. Can you chill? I mean, let me just be very clear for the point I wanted to get. There's a lot of things I want to say, but here's the point. You clearly have no fucking respect for me or what I offered. You are no longer going to have the keys. And should you want to work with me again, you fucking ask. I'm not offering you shit again anymore. This is ridiculous. I'm done. And we can talk when you choose to learn to share respect. Don't just fucking command it or demand it. I'm done.
Again, you just gave me an ultimatum. You just provided a false resolution to a false problem that exists within you, can be created within you or solved within you. It's just your MO 1-to-1. You only give shit in order to keep track, to hold it over people's head in order to take it back and use it against them. Fine if you want to do that to play the bit non-bit on a broadcast like I do with O'Shea and others, but where does the line begin and end with the bit non-bit and the truth from the fiction, right? So you obviously have issues with yourself and your life and your family and your career. You obviously have issues with me by proxy because you have issues with yourself. We can't work together because you're unreconciled. Merely asking you a common sense question puts you into a fit of rage where you start giving ultimatums, taking things back, trying to be domineering and controlling while being abusive. This is the cornerstone of the narcissism and the egotism and the pride that you talk about so regularly and project onto everyone else seemingly in your experience at some point. So, again, I don't need anything from you or with you. It seems you need something from or with me. So you're not offering me anything by proving you need something from and with me. I'm perfectly happy working with you, co-creating with you, sharing love and care with you, or not. So when you get out of your falsely empowered codependence, where you use everyone that comes along in your life who is or has what you believe to be more than you, you won't have this issue anymore. I can't solve your life problems for you. My best efforts to ask you questions or give you answers leads to you going in a fit of rage and projecting onto me. This is probably why you have so many issues with your women, your children, your career prospects, and many other folks who you've met online, I suspect. So again, I'm open to reconciliation. I'm open to solutions-based oriented conversation. I'm open to you having your property, your home, discharge the debt. I'm open to your family coming back. The whole reason I have you here and interact with you is because I care about you and I want resolution for you in all areas. If I didn't, I just wouldn't have you here. Do I necessarily believe at this point, after this display again here today, that you're capable of that? Probably not. Would I wish it to be different? Yes. Am I God of all creation? No. Am I Jack Talcott? No. So my wants and my wishes don't matter as much as the results that have been shown over and over again, and the patterns of behavior and credibility and lack thereof and reputation that have been shown over and over again. Okay, so at some point, we're just going to have to confront the harsh truth and the cold, hard facts, and we're going to have to accept that we're not perfect and that maybe we can tighten up in some areas, do and be and have better. If not, you're going to keep manifesting a hell for yourself and calling it heavenly. The actions of a man, as just displayed, are not a man who's existing in a heavenly, blissful, loving reality. Far from it. It was demonic, to be frank.
Jack demands respect, right? But he hasn't earned it, and he doesn't give it.
Click the link, Sanity.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, respect is like a two-way street. But when you're out there telling people, like, they don't know what they're going to get, and then your next words is, I don't even know what,
It's hard to, again, you see he comes in like folks do many times here. They have a good sense of humor about their life and their own brand of insanity, which looks a lot like everyone else's brand of insanity, ironically, until they reach a moment in the conversation in life when they realize they don't have control and they're unreconciled. Then they get angry. Then they get bitter and resentful. Then they want to project onto daddy and say, I'm going to destroy myself and whatever goes on here to prove you didn't love me enough. That's not how this works. You need to go to therapy if you're living out these subconscious, archetypal, unreconciled states of beingness. It's not, the answers are not going to be found here with me online. The answers are going to be found with the truth that you keep ignoring and rejecting, resisting, and fighting against. I'm not your enemy.
Like, why did they flip out on you before they've even evaluated what you just said? There's no way their brain could have processed what you just brought to them, right? They didn't even say that's possible. You know what I mean? Because in their minds, it's impossible. They don't even want to go through the process of evaluating the information.
No, they're looking for me to accept their hell they call heavenly and ignore their responses, reactions, or results and accept the claim. I'm not willing to be gaslit. I'm not willing to be obfuscated away from the truth and what the facts show. Right? So it's like, this is the cornerstone of egotism and narcissism that he speaks regularly about, and like they all like to project onto me. I don't need those mechanisms and modality. I have objective logic, morals, and ethics on my side, along with history. What would I need egotism and narcissism for? The facts are better than my feelers. I got to screen this person here. King Stephen, can I hear from you, sir?
Hello.
Can I see you and hear from you?
Hello.
Yeah, are you planning on doing anything? Can I just see you real quick?
I have tape over my camera. Doesn't work.
Okay,
see
but you're
my
not
channel,
planning on doing anything?
No, just talking.
Okay, I'll accept that.
You've messaged me before in the past. I think you found my email. I don't know if you remember
I
that.
messaged you.
Yeah, I'm the Sanity Machine. I'm from the Sanity Machine channel. The
I
channel
don't
that,
believe I've ever emailed you, sir.
the guy that Chalk Body Outline made videos about and stuff like that a few months ago.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All
That
right.
voice sounds creepy, bro.
Does it? Creepy.
Yeah, why you
bro.
sound creepy like that, bro?
You sound creepy to me.
I
Why are
don't
you so
know.
hostile?
I don't know, bro.
You guys paranoid over here or something? I've got a channel. Why don't you just type in the Sanity Machine?
You just came up and you said I emailed you.
Yeah, a while ago. You introduced yourself to me. You emailed.
Could you please?
contacted-
Because I want to make sure that someone's not pretending to be me. So could you please tell me what email that is and pull that up and read it to me if possible? Because I don't have any memory of doing that, and it's not typical of my behavior.
No problem. It was months ago, and somebody.
But I'm not
emailed me.
aware of who you are, and I don't watch your channel, so it'd be odd that I would email you.
All right. Can you hold on a second?
You can't see how that's strange that I'm not aware of who you are and don't watch your channel for me to then take time out of my day to send an email when there's people I do watch who I haven't done that with. It's possible you might be revealing that I'm Joe Biden'd out here today, in which case I need that diagnosis. I might be a bit Alzheimer'd already. I mean, I've done a lot of drugs in my time.
All right, no problem. I'll check for the email.
Thank you, sir. Joe Moore, did you have anything that you wanted to speak on?
Yeah, you know, I don't have like an internet here, Paul. I ask that you forgive me. I don't have any, modem or anything. I'm on just a phone. I tried to work with Jack just like everybody else has. And he is kind of one-sided to a degree. I mean, I sent him like a wizard 2-cent stamp, a letter through the mail from my house to his house is 2,000 miles. And I no zip code. So it's first class non-domestic. And it's something that nobody in the post office has ever heard of. I mean, people call Wizard crazy about, not using proper postage. I actually stack a post with a 2-cent stamp, zip exempt, no zip attached to him. No zip
Yeah, I've been aware of this before I met Wizard. The American Nationals do it all the time. There's no requirement for any of this crap in order to send communications. You're cutting out a little bit. Try to get close to your router, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yo, let me tell you how to send mail for
Yeah, I don't
free,
have a
ladies and
router.
gentlemen. Listen, here's what you do. You do a Jedi mind trick on them. You take the to address, you put your address there, right? And you put the from address as their address, but you send no stamp. So when they go to return it, it goes where it's going. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You can also wipe off the black stuff with a little bit of vinegar if you steam the letter and get free stamps.
Right, that would be known as also
Well,
a
I
return address, not a from address, and many of us are aware
Yeah,
of
there
that.
you go.
That's
You
possible.
just flip
Yeah.
them, bro, and they're free. Listen, I'll teach you. The squirrels taught me.
Yeah, you're a genius, man. I learned that about you.
The squirrels taught me.
I'm just pointing out that here, with that Real ID Act coming up, they want us all to become federal citizens via that Real ID Act, which, you're just you're consenting to their jurisdiction. Same thing with the zip code. We invite it by using it. There's that consent that you're talking about, Paul.
Yeah, they've already done that with United States citizen. Everybody's ID, passport, and all the rest of it already denotes they're a United States citizen. It already makes you a federal citizen, as you want to put it. But again, this is just It's whatever they want it to be at this point. Because I go, okay, make me a federal citizen. I'll park myself in federal jurisdiction and I'll just use your code to get myself out of anything you want to try to create fraudulent liability for me for. It's all there, right? U.S. code establishes that we have basically God-given rights and that these agents are bound to do only certain things and no more than that. So even if they write down, hey, weed is illegal and federally illegal, well, states have states' rights to govern themselves as they like to say, aka they can't keep their agents. They have to keep their agents from interfering with our God-given rights. So once that's put on record, guess what? We can trade those plants and those herbs without any say from an agent. So, ultimately, I could park myself in federal jurisdiction. They could make any federal legality, illegality that they want. And I'm going to just point them back to the original standing and standpoint of where that all kind of generates from. And that's the sound law, right? That no agent, state, local, federal, can prescribe a code that is a detriment to the men and women they serve, the benefactor of government and the beneficiary, unless the being deems themselves to be a co-trustee, which is what calling yourself United States citizen essentially is. You've been deemed to be a withholding agent. That's what your tax forms say. You're a withholding agent for a reason. You're a co-trustee for United States Corporation on paper. So, you can have those things, you can present those things, but you better not claim you are those things, if that makes sense.
We are
It's
not the body,
many
we are
ways.
the spirit and habit in the body. The
Right.
body is a vehicle.
Right. We are non-being. We use beingness. The Tao says that. So I am that am as a consciousness. I have a body. I am not a citizen. I have a citizenship. I can get in it, pilot it around the seas of commerce, and then I can park it, get off, and I'm back to man on the land, aka I am that am in bodily form. So this is the double talking pimp game, perception, deception that they engage in, where they use words and terms and sorcery and spelling to divide us from the reality of what's happening. And it tends to work.
If you associate with the body, you die with the body. You know what I mean?
So with back to Jack, I mean, we do have a lot here that we could learn from his situation. If he would just utilize this and take it some of the advantage of, we tried to get him to challenge the validity of the alleged loan, a year ago? Not to say he can't do that now. And hopefully if he would just listen to maybe some of your knowledge, some of, Wizard's knowledge on, challenging whoever, because they're going to send a representative, right? That's how they
He's not
operate.
willing to. He's not willing to concede that he's not the God of creation in this form. It's very Luciferian what he's up to. He wants to be his own God, and he wants his will to be done, regardless of what the facts, the record, the law, the code, equity, maxims of law. It doesn't matter what's shown to him or told to him. He will have it his way or no way. And by virtue of that state of consciousness, he will never actually attain that. That's where it's self-defeating.
It's like a megalomania with like a god complex, but it's at the root Luciferian. Straight up.
Isn't that all of what that all describes anyway, with the original story of the personality archetype that seeks to overwrite everything in creation for its own will, regardless of how senseless and disordered and chaotic it seems to be, while claiming it's a heaven, we're in a hell? It's inversion. Inversion hypocrisy.
The strangest thing about the dilemma in most cases is the worst kind of deception is when they're not even aware that they have become Luciferian. They start doing things and they don't even know that they're doing them. Like, I believe that Jack doesn't know he's doing sigil hand magic, but he does do it. That being said, I think we spoke about this once before. Is there only one operator on that vehicle of that body? You know what I mean? Has that body been opened up to, demonic control? Is there any contracts? I don't know. But I see Jack do things that he's not necessarily aware of, but I'm aware of it.
Right, but isn't this essentially all of what, if we reduce it back to the religious language initially, this is what mental, emotional, spiritual illness presents as Luciferianism. Like, let's go back to Passio now for the, I guess, non-bit portion of the bit non-bit.
You got owned. You got punked out like a bitch. And you don't want to acknowledge it. You don't want to admit it. That's what Satanism is.
That's what Satanism and Luciferianism is. You've been punked out and played and deceived, and you don't want to admit it because you got too much pride and ego. You'd rather fight with God while you destroy yourself. You'd rather resist the truth while the lie undoes you.
Passio's the inverted Jack, bro. He's got the black beard and the white hair. He woke up. It's the mirror Jack.
Right. The reality is Passio's doing it as well because he acts like he doesn't have debts and loans and banking contracts and mortgage death pledge, and he doesn't exist merely at the whim of the people he yells and screams at every day. So, I mean, at some point here, we all get lost in our own fucking egotistical, prideful bullshit if it's not highly observed and checked, especially in these venues where you're constantly given validation, adoration, adulation, and criticism only really ever comes from folks who wish to undo you. It never really comes from folks who are loyal and truthful and honorable. They're only ever using criticism that might be truthful about you to try to mischaracterize you and character assassinate you. They're never giving it to you constructively.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. Passio is a straight up blood drinking Satanist. Even if he changed his life around, he still did that. At my worst, I never did no shit like that.
Again, bro, I'm not going to take that presentment because, you know, as far as my conscience goes, maybe I'm just a bitch and I'm hypersensitive, but I've been a part of people, places, and things that were wrong and bad and wound up with folks being hurt. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're guilty of the least of it, you're guilty of all of it. And as far as our understanding goes, whoever the hour is, because I don't call myself a Christian, but it would seem to me with what I have experienced firsthand and what I've seen with others that there's always reconciliation and redemption available if you seek to turn from your wicked ways. If you will not confront that and reconcile that and turn from that, then you will continue to bear the judgment of literally the karma, the cause and effect. This isn't even that mysterious and mystical. It's just like.
But all I'm saying is, when you look at it, whatever a being has done, there's certain levels, right? And I don't know if you ever dealt with the evil side of life and the devil, you know what I mean? But the devil and the demons, they'll try to get you to do incrementally more wicked things to drag you deeper into the darkness, right? And what I'm saying is some people go real deep, right? And like, you know what I mean? I've taken it to like levels of violence, you know what I mean? Maybe a little bit of robbery here and there, something like that, you know what I mean? Allegedly. But at the end of the day, I was never out there, you know what I mean, beating up old ladies or kids or.
It doesn't matter, bro. You're justifying right now. This is what all you religionists and Jesus freaks do. You make justifications for your wrongdoing and your evil.
There's levels.
How is harming in some way or potentially changing the rest of someone's life neurochemically by putting a gun in their face or whatever the fuck else? How is that not harming one of God's children? And how are you not guilty of the least and the most of everything? I don't see how.
I'm not guilty, yo. I was a terrible piece of shit. I was an animal. I was living as an animal, right? I'm not denying that. But I'm trying to say that there was some type of moral compass, right? Where like I wasn't just out there fucking with people at random. I was dealing with people who had agreed to that lifestyle. Like if you're out there, you know what I mean, you're selling drugs, like you agreed to that lifestyle, you know what's involved with it. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't out there dealing with innocence. There was something in me. You know what I mean? I can't explain that.
No, listen, you don't have to explain it. I've lived it. The heart is pure, you could call it, right? Unless again, the heart is pure at its natural essence, at its essential component. And then we are heartbroken people at a certain point. So we're not completely whole. and we start doing atrocity because we fall into absurdity with absurd folks.
When I hated myself the most, I was at my most violent. You know what I'm saying? The more I came to terms with what I am, who I am, right? The violence leaves you. It's still, there's still
the less heartbroken you are, the less reactive you are, the less willing you are to put your burdens and your pain and misery onto other people who aren't living that.
Yeah. And then it becomes, you then can either, you know, you can flip the other way and start to repent for that and start the sacrifice process. Not like actual sacrifices. What I'm saying is you're sacrificing your efforts for others, doing for others. You know what I mean? That's the repentance. You know what I mean? If you did,
Yeah,
if you did,
I agree that.
I mean, like every debt has to be
part,
paid,
though,
right?
don't I have to go and actually apologize to the people that I did the wrong to in order for me to truly, repent.
It's not always
I have
direct.
to let them know that,
not always
I did wrong, and I'm not going to repeat that behavior.
That's also repenting. You know what I mean? Turning your life around, turning the direction you're headed in.
Right. The problem is you're constantly around folks who are claiming righteousness while doing wrong and claiming wrongdoings while there is no wrongdoing. It may be righteousness. So if there is no loss, injury, and harm, and there is no unpaid debt that you've agreed to, there is no wrongdoing.
I'm not having any claim to righteousness. You know what I mean? I'm a man. I'm flawed. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I might bug out one day and just punch a motherfucker in the face. You know what I mean? Like, I might just, like, there's no man that is good. I'm trying to be. That's all I can say. I'm trying to be good as I can be. I'm in hell almost right now. So, like,
I'm glad you mentioned
I mean?
that, Rant, because you were actually preaching that to me the other day. And you're right. Every man is corruptible.
You know what I mean? We're still flesh at the end of the day that we're inhabiting as a spirit. So that's the corruptible part of the man. Now, if you let the flesh corrupt the spirit, this is the worst thing. You know what I mean?
Hi, Paul.
What's going on, Goblin?
Not much, man. I hope my day's been blessed.
Yeah, I got no complaints, man. Complaint department's closed anyway. Universally.
Hey, man, what do you think about this this Palestinian shit, man?
Oh, you know what I think about it, man. I've said it over and over again. It's just more world stage optics, like your boy likes to say. It's just more, fraudulent nation state controlled by central bankers behind the scenes, internecine battles in order to bring in a new system and a new way of beingness, a very old new way of beingness, right? It's just like slavery except digital now. So they've done this over and over again, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
pre-flood.
You've seen that Golden Gate Bridge shit, man. You could see that was definitely staged. I mean, how the
Did
hell
you hear
bring
me?
yourself to barrels and shit? You know what I mean?
Technocratic mind control slavery.
Were you listening the other night when I called that out, that there would be something with the Golden Gate today? Do you remember that? I'm going to have to go back and clip that out, but I fucking don't remember. Well, I said something would likely happen, just like on Nancy Pelosi's birthday, the Baltimore Bridge came down. She was from Baltimore. Today's Paul Pelosi's birthday. He's from San Francisco.
Right, but we're back to the irony of you can tell me more about what's likely to happen in the world than you can in your own life and life path. That's not a good omen.
You know what it is? He wants the t-shirts to be made that say Pineal Power was right, like Alex Jones.
I know. That's the thing. Everybody's looking for credit that they know, like, okay, we're there. You're there. We got it. The discernment's there. The connections are there. The number counting's there. The philosophy and theology's there. Now what? I keep posing the question for all the fucking extremely intelligent, discerning gotcha folks with the whataboutisms. Now what?
This is the question, and no one can answer it.
Right, because they're not willing to answer it. They can answer it. They're not willing to. It's just easier to sit in the nether region of the now I'm drawing blanks lately. I'm going full Joe Biden because I'm taking this RSO oil. I don't even know where I am anymore, but somehow I just keep opening my mouth and shit comes out. The purgatory, right? This is this purgatorial state of beingness that most are in, where they're looking around. They're describing what they're seeing. When they get it right, they're like 10 points for the truther community. We got it right. Okay. Now what when it comes to you and your self-development and your life and what you're creating or not?
I feel like if we go this route, we're going to be walking into a FEMA camp, right? Handcuffed to each other going, we knew it. You know what I mean?
Right. And I'm going to go, great. We all knew it. And then like everyone will be there and then I'll come in. Right. Or already be there. I don't know how we write the movie. I think we write the movie where everyone else gets locked up first in the FEMA camp, and then they card in Paulie Boy, and the whole place goes, yeah.
Calcott's in a guard tower going,
yeah.
Elated.
Yeah, it's just everyone clapping. And I'm like, yeah. So what did we do from now till then? I'm gonna go, hey, how was your experience from like last time I saw you to now? That was pretty interesting.
The sad part is you're absolutely right, Paul. And what I would have to say is it's pathetic, and that includes me too, because nobody wants to answer the question. Now what?
Goblin, the only reason that I've come to this state of beingness is because I lived it for so long, what I'm seemingly criticizing. I couldn't talk about something I didn't know that was true about me first and foremost, unless I was speculating. I'm not. I was in the analysis paralysis for too long. Am I fascinated by the universe and everything in it and how it works? Yeah. Am I going to spend all of my waking time, energy, attention looking at what could be and ignoring what is? No. Right? I'm going to create around that or with that. I'm going to co-create with that or around that.
There may be one man that may have the answer, Paul. He goes
Jack Talcott?
No. He goes by the name of Pops.
Again, there is no answer. The answer is already there. You guys aren't going to reinvent the wheel or overwrite life and creation. I know you desperately want to. They're working on it. The best people are working on it. They'll have the goggles for you soon enough and the implants. But life is there, right? Life is available, brothers and sisters, and everything within it. Right? The opportunity, the creation of your character from within that you bring to the world stage into life, and what you create and what you experience. That's all within your ability to choose still right now. So if you avoid that to focus on their ability to choose what your life's going to be, well, then oddly enough, while you're focusing on what their ability to choose is for your life, you're going to be living their ability to choose for your life and not living your own.
Do all good people not feel the desire to fight evil? Even though they also, at the same time, do not desire war. They desire peace, but they feel this need to fight evil. Oh, how do you fight evil? This is the question.
Right. You subdue or you direct your evil ways as much as possible in faith. You cannot fight what is part of you.
Yeah, and that's also one of them things where it's not even just spiritually you feel like you want to do that. Like that actually it satisfies your ego as well. You know what I mean? That's natural all the way around. That's the way that you should be as a human.
And we've all identified money is the root of it, but how do you fight money? Do you punch a dollar?
No, we have not all identified that money, as you put it, or fiat coupons are the root of all evil. I don't accept that. Ignorance is the root of all evil.
Trade, right, for things that aren't.
You didn't even listen to what I just said.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. Trade without.
How do you conflate money with ignorance? One is a state of beingness. The other one is a physical manifestation of a state of beingness.
Is there real value in the money?
Because we give it value.
That's based on perspective, right? It's based on perspective. On the highest level, no. On the lowest level, yes, because perception is reality on some level if the majority of the folks are living a living hallucination.
If the powers that be decide that it no longer has a value, which they can, and which is what their plan is with the digital shit, right? To be able to control it, decide the value in live real time.
The fiat only exists because man exists. They collateralize man. So everything that extends off man is a representation of man's value.
That's why there's even an episode regarding crypto, currencies at all, is because they want to do the power grab.
That's why you go at court, and if you say from that perspective, I'm a secure party creditor, it doesn't even matter if I'm holding these instruments. You can't control and regulate me because everything you created extends off of me and my credit and credibility and my signature. Who are you kidding? So, bring in 10 more racks of fucking fiat coupons that are supposed to represent value. Because if I'm living truth on any level, well, that's all that is, right? And then you could argue from the inversion side, right? If you live the lie hard enough and long enough and you're good enough at it, well, they're going to bring in a stack of representation of value in their world. I mean, the presumption is that God's people shouldn't have representations or coupons of value. I don't accept that.
It's mammon. It becomes idolatry.
Yeah, if you put the truth and who and what you are beneath that representation of value, yes, you could do that with anything. You could do that with women. You could do that with your country. You could do that with anything and anyone. It's a state of beingness.
It makes it really hard for certain, like if everything was real value, it makes it hard for certain individuals to have that much in a space and protect it.
This is why, again, on one level, it's a representation of value. If you tilt the coin on the other side, like the shadow side is, it's a representation of how much debt you're in. Because they'll say for every X amount of those pieces of paper you hold, it represents how much they've printed up and collateralized you and put everyone collectively into debt. So on one level, it's a representation of value and what you've created or what you've served. And on another shadow side, it's a representation of how much your body is in debt here to this system because you are the origination point of that.
In mass, if people realized that in mass and they just said, we don't owe you this money and we don't acknowledge money anymore, then the rich don't rule the world anymore. The people do.
Let me put it to you like this. If I do what I do here every day and I change lives on some level, or facilitate a life change, because I can't change lives. I can help facilitate, like was helped to facilitate with me, a change in someone's life. Well, if someone gives me value for that, that's a representation of my value in the community. If I go work for Exxon and I get $200,000 or $500,000 a year to work for Exxon and sell my soul, well, that $500,000 now just became a representation of who and what I'm indebted to. You see what I'm saying?
Know a way around using the coupons. I'm just claiming that it is the root of the evil. You know what I mean?
The root to the evil is lack of understanding of self and where your power and true resource is located. So that would be ignorance and arrogance is the root of all evil.
And that's what perpetuates the fiat coupon system.
Right. One comes before the other.
Yeah, they'll take the currency and then they'll play off your ego and your energy. That's what it comes down to, really.
They'll say, "Oh, you work for Exxon Valdez. You get $5 million a year. Boy, is that a representation of your value." But really, it's a representation of how deep you're in debt with Shaitan and how much you're going to have to destroy yourself and this planet in order to exist.
I can stand
really all about perspective.
Ignorance is the root of all evil. I agree. For lack of knowledge, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
That's the only reason Donnie Trump, on subconsciously on some level, presuming it's real, didn't take his fucking salary because he knew subconsciously, if I take this money and I do what I know I'm going to do, which is sell out, I'm getting double and triple the karma. I don't need the money anyway. So he's probably smart for that. You're going to be a useful dupe. Don't take payment for it because you're going to get double the fucking karma. They're going to want that money back in blood.
I mean, there's also people that just don't care about the money. Like, he did it as almost as like a statement, you know what I mean? To let people know it's not about the money. It was like a sales point.
Right. I'd rather you fail and lose and convince everyone else of that for free rather than take payment for it. It's better off for you.
I respect him more for not taking the payment. I mean, it doesn't mean I like him, but it's like 1 point in the bucket. You gotta weigh shit, right?
It's just a selling point.
You gotta
it's just a way to be perceived as honorable by a crowd. Oh, he didn't take his 100,000 for the year. He don't need that shit. He's working with the bankers. What does he need a fucking $100,000 salary for when he can get $1 billion line of credit off his assets? Give me a fucking break. It's a selling point.
It's nothing to him.
Just like when these motherfuckers donate to charity and tell everyone about it. It's just another selling point for their image and their legacy.
It's tax write-offs too, bro. They do it to like they actually get benefit from it. It's even more fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
All right, give me the final word here. I got to go look at land. We're coming up on the third hour. We didn't even barely do if we did any breaking news. Let me do a couple breaking slave news.
You looking at
Hey,
land,
I'm
bro?
getting out of here, man. I just stopped by real quick, man.
All right, get the hell out of here.
All right.
I'll see you later, Goblin. Sergeant does not know the law. Doesn't want to follow their own codes. That's part of the headline, so we got to view it. Film the Police LA. This is a new person I came across. Pretty entertaining individual. Facts aside, right? I'm not going to get into the characterization of whether I'm supporting him completely in what he's doing. I'm not going to do the analysis and the breakdown if I can help it. He's doing what he's doing. He obviously believes in it. He's a fairly entertaining guy. I'll let God be the judge and the people at the end of the day on is he doing right, is he doing wrong, or somewhere in between? Because, I mean, isn't that everybody?
Look it up, bro. I hand look it up. 70%. Are you kidding me? The tint laws are 70%. You can have tints in the front. Are you kidding me? I looked up plenty of times. I've written you guys up for the same fucking tint law. California law doesn't say you can't have any tints. It thinks that you cannot have any tints on the front passenger or front driver windows. My God. I'm gonna make a fool out of you. But why are they calling me back up? You know why? Because they're gonna pull him out and handcuff him. So he's coming right there. Here comes another one. You guys doing all this, I bet you're gonna handcuff him and search the car, right? Here we go. Here comes the drama queens. Here you guys. Normal traffic stops got to have backup, right? Got to have backup. You got to handcuff them. You got to search the car, right? Just out of routine. You know what? Fuck it. We'll have the third car come too. Because a Dodge Charger or a Dodge Challenger out here in Hollywood, the Hollywood cops are going to be big ass fucking drama queens and pull them out of the car and handcuff them just out of fucking routine. Justify that. You're going to have to justify this pretextual stop. You need 6 cops for 1 car. What are they doing? Why are they just standing here like this? Get on with the damn stop. What the hell are you waiting for? They got all these cops. What are they waiting for another car to come? They're just gonna stand there. Right? They're just standing there waiting for more backup. Huh? No, it's not. This is standard. This is every day. This happens all the time. Exactly. Walk over and talk to him. Exactly. But they're just wasting their time. He's going to have him here for a half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, while they just sit around doing this. What are they even doing? What are they waiting for? They got 4 cops here.
What if the car just left?
I've seen that happen before. I've seen so many police chases. I've watched the end of police chases. I've watched the car get shot up at the end of police chases. I've seen the amount of stuff I've seen.
Would it be about half an hour?
Let me see. Don't say that.
Yeah.
I'm oppressing, so they don't. Who's that? Who's this one card? What the fuck are they doing? Will they get on with it? Just go give them his ticket, whatever the fuck you're gonna do. Not early, not early.
This is the newest video. I watched one of the other ones yesterday, but this one's rather uneventful. Your thoughts, Brian O'Shea? On the window tint? Tint gate?
Fascism tastes so good. Fascism.
Slaves want it. They need it.
Yum, yum. Mm-mm-mm. These guys are pretty cool, man.
You get to receive what you receive. I know what I'm offering. And I'm offering, well, I don't know. Thoughts, Chandler?
Final words, Brian O'Shea, Penal Power.
All right, I'll see you guys later, man. Thanks for the broadcast, Paul.
Thank you, Mr. O'Shea. I got to do more breaking slave news tomorrow. I've been neglecting the breaking slave news. People like that. Some of them.
All right, I just ran back. I saw you were ending. Have a good one, man. I'll see you tomorrow, probably. Take it easy, everybody.
Thank you, Sean.
All right.
All right, folks. Another one in the books. I'm calling it a resounding success. We were panel heavy today. Sometimes it works out that way. You know, you never really know what you're going to get here, but you know what you're going to get here. If that makes sense. Pino, I don't know why you're still here. And I got to throw you out every time. This kid just tell you something. Okay. Goodbye. So, yeah. I'll be back as always, we're 7 days a week still. I'm not taking a day off. I wanted to take Sunday, but I said, you know what? I'm going to continue on. As long as my body is willing and able, the spirit is willing and able, and I'll be here till I can no longer stand. That's my commitment to this audience and to this endeavor. So with that said, I will be back tomorrow, 12 to 3, MDT, as always. Mazel from out west. And yeah, if you folks want it, commitment to more breaking slave news. Although I would prefer to do more fellowship activity in the sense of interpersonal conversation, conversion, facilitation, that sort of thing. If the time allows, if the situation calls for it, right? I don't want to force anything. I don't want to manufacture anything. There's always the element of content here. But I do see it as a calling, or part of my cause for doing this, or even being here at this time, is to give a perspective, if I'm able, to individuals to facilitate a quote unquote positive change, right? Or just a reformation, reconciliation, as I have seen in my own life. So I'm going to leave it there. Much love, times 2, right? That's how you know that it's real. I do have a generalized care and what I guess you could call love for all beings of life. Oftentimes, things don't always shake out the way we want them to, but that's no reason to live in hate, of course. It is preferable to live in love or to live in care, as long as you observe the truth, than to live in bitterness, resentment, division, and hate. So I choose that for me. It is a selfish endeavor, I guess you could argue, but by virtue of choosing that for me, I think it allows me to be more selfless on the back end. So that's a win-win as far as I can tell. But I'm still willing to play the bad guy online, right? And I'm still willing to do wrong, right? And to be focused and refocused, right? Because it seems that's the path of life, right? Is not necessarily do wrong, but not do as good as I could be doing, right? That's what I've learned. So I'm open to that being the case. I'm open to being humbled at times by the force of creation, which happens almost immediately, it seems, in my life. So when I get off track, when I get off course, I'm humbled pretty quick and I'm put back on track. How long I stay on track, that's another discussion, right? I have these habits. I have these regressive patterns, as I believe we all do. So we're right at home here. If not anywhere else in the universe, we're right at home here on the metaverse. So I wouldn't have it any other way. All right, folks, enough of the jibber jabber. I'm out of here. Go do something with the rest of your day. Get the hell out of here.
Me, I always tell it, even when I lie. So say good night to the bad guy. Go on. The last time you're going to see a black guy like this again.
The Great Reset's happening. So when you get all your pretty and nice shit taken away and your bullshit job that leads to nowhere, and you're forced back on the land and have to be self-sustainable and co-creative and work with what is, this talk about your feelings and your ego is going to go right out the window, because the God and the elements and nature are going to present what needs to happen next 9 out of 10 times. That's the difference between me and you. I got it in me, not on me, just like you do. I'm trying to work it out, bring the subconscious to the conscious and figure out who and what I am. Am I good or evil? Am I real and true? Am I a narcissistic, egotistical deceiver? That's the difference. I'm actually authentically trying to work it out while you lie to everyone and project your negative aspects of self onto me, and I don't appreciate it. And the universe don't appreciate it either. And the students of life in this audience don't appreciate it either. This isn't about love and money. This isn't about chasing bags or anything else in and of the world. This is about the Philo-Sophie, right? The love of knowledge, the love of wisdom, the love of understanding of self and applying it to actualize and realize and get better results for yourself and everyone else. I thought that's what we were doing here. So let's get the game back in its proper perspective. The motherfucker doing this shit shouldn't have to talk about it because you folks want to lie on it. It's embarrassing to me. I didn't come on here with the intention or the understanding that this is supposed to be for business or a hobby. That's why I show up the way I do 500 days straight. That's why I have a care in my heart with passion. That's why I do what's true and what's right and see through you motherfuckers and get amazing results for me. We can't allow the generalized experience of life and everything it has to offer, good, bad, and indifferent, to hold us back or keep us paralyzed or keep us fearful or self-doubting or unloving and uncaring of ourselves. How do I know? Because I look into me. That's all this is. I can see further than the rest. I can interpret beyond what's told and shown, and I can amalgamate and communicate the cause and effect and the root of the state of consciousness and awareness. That is a astounding testimony to the work that I've done on myself in this world and in this life, and the practices I've walked with other people. The question and answer, the fellowship, the co-creational endeavors, and the conversation that leads to understanding. But again, we can't appeal to false emotions and false authority. That is the cornerstone of cognitive dissonance. You can't say that I'm respectable, righteous, honorable, presentable, and then I have balls and then turn around and hate me or catch feelings over me, be in that and live in that when you don't like it or when it doesn't turn out as favorably for you as you would have hoped or expected, right? That's the theme of a true common bond that goes long term versus the shallow materialistic worldly connections that come and go. It is what it is. Some people are down forever. Some people are down for the ride until they got to get off, right? And some people ain't down at all. So through the life experiences, firsthand experiences, through the tests and challenges, you learn more and more who and what is meant for you and who or what is probably not going to be able to sustain the ride. And that's okay.
God of all media.